Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
60% of employees are feeling pressured to use AI. 39% of them say it makes them less intelligent. Well, we have an AI expert who we lean on from time to time. He is all very cool with it. Our future robot masters are going to come and get us. And Matt Rosen, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Simon. Thanks for having me on this evening.
Absolutely. So you asked me a question this morning when we were arranging this. You asked me if I'd used it. Yes, I have used some AI. I typically use it for a fast, hopefully accurate fact check. So if I see something and I'm like, yeah, it can't be right, I will very quickly type into Grok, typically, which is the Elon Musk version, is blah, blah, blah true? And in a few seconds, Grok will give me the answer to that question.
Hey, I'm excited for you. In fact, I'm proud. I think the last time I was on the show, you said no way, never. So it's awesome to hear you using it, and that's a great use for AI. I mean, it's way easier than Googling something. Although Google just built their AI into their search, but and it has gotten a lot more accurate over the years. So I'm glad to hear you're adopting it, and the robot masters will be after you here pretty soon.
It's it's just sometimes when you're on the air and something comes across that you want to check fast, you can't rely on Google, A, for getting it fast, and B, for getting it right. So that's why I've been doing what I've been doing. It's rare, but it does happen, and I'm always honest with my audience. That's what we do. So let's go back to these numbers. 60% of employees feel pressured to use AI, whilst 39% says it makes them dumber.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. I feel like this is not an AI issue. I feel like this is a leadership issue. I feel like there's a lot of executives out there. They're like, oh, AI can make us so much more productive. And they buy people Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude, or they tell them to just go get their own tools. And they're like, be more productive. Instead of actually sitting down with them and helping them define what problems they expect them to solve, what results they hope to get, and then adequately providing some training to make them more effective. And so that's, I think, where you're seeing the 60% being pressured without given a real goal or objective. It's just, hey, use AI to do better. And then when you talk about the 39% feeling dumber, they're offloading work that they should be probably a little more involved in. It's doing the thinking for them versus them doing the thinking. And I've seen this a lot where I see a resume or I see an email for someone, I can just be like, hey, I wrote that, and they didn't even edit it. And so I think as humans, we have to be good about reading what the AI gives us and still putting our own thought and words to it, and not just blindly handing it over as our own work without giving it critical thought.
And here's a little tip: if you're going to do that with a resume, A, Matt is absolutely right, please read it. And B, if you don't want it to be like everybody else's AI-produced resume, put a couple of personal things in, like, my dog Hank. AI doesn't know that, so just put some stuff in that's really you. I mean, it doesn't have to be the qualification stuff, but stuff that's about you. That's I would notice an AI resume, I think, in a heartbeat, because it wouldn't have any of that.
Yeah, it'll put things in the third person. It'll use words that don't always go together, and it'll write in a format that's pretty easy to spot. And heck, you can sometimes throw something into an AI and say, hey, did AI produce this? It doesn't always know, but it can always detect patterns. And not having that personal touch it's huge. And so I think that's where we don't give kids calculators before they can do arithmetic. You don't hand someone a chainsaw without teaching them how to use it. And I think, unfortunately, that's some of what's happening with AI today. It's only as good as the hands you put it in.
It's interesting you mentioned calculators. A lot of people are very, very worried about jobs. I was in school when calculators first appeared, and the same language that is being used now by teachers was being used about calculators. You can only use them under teacher instruction, right? Within very limited guidelines. And it's quite literally the same language. It was used then that is being used now about AI. And the other thing that I'm not remotely worried about at all, frankly, is the job part of it. Because with every new technology, we hear the same thing. Oh, it's going to kill jobs. This is what it's going to do. It's going to kill jobs. And it never comes true.
No, it doesn't. And things that happen in Silicon Valley never diffuse into society or to businesses anywhere nearly as quickly as they think. I think the AI leadership, like Sam Altman and Dario Amodei, I'll call them out directly. I feel like they have been preaching a lot of doom and gloom and have gotten a lot of people very concerned about these jobs going away, and people at Microsoft doing the same thing. It's like I view a lot of positivity that will come out of AI. It's not going to be all good. It's not going to be all bad. It's going to be a renaissance of blue-collar work that pays really, really well to rebuild our infrastructure. But there's going to be a lot of new jobs that get created as a result of AI. And the people that are really learning how to use it, how to make themselves better, be more productive, they're going to be here to stay. Those who ignore it and don't learn it, it's not AI coming for your job. It's someone using AI. But if you do the same thing over and over again and you don't critically think much, there's a good chance AI might
Sure.
disrupt your world a little bit.
Sure. Well, we did have an industrial revolution and people lost their jobs, but then they got new jobs and different jobs. And that is exactly the same thing that we're talking about right now, as far as I'm concerned. I don't like AI. Mainly for one reason. The person with the biggest brain on the planet, and I truly mean that, I absolutely believe it, is Elon Musk. In fact, when asked if he believes in aliens, he said, "I am one." I pretty much believe that too, actually, because that's a really great way to hide. He says he's scared of AI. Now, if that guy's scared of AI, why shouldn't I be, Matt?
That's a great question. And I think there are things to fear if we don't properly control it. And it shouldn't be given access to weapon systems. It shouldn't be given access and free reign to all the information that we have. I think we as a society have to make sure we're controlling it and guiding where it goes versus letting it go wherever it wants. So I think there is, there are humans that need to be kept in the loop, and there need to be controls in place. And AI can't. You've seen it wipe out a database of one CEO. It will open security holes, and so that's why they delayed the Mythos model, which I thought was a good thing, allowing software companies the ability to get their code ready before a tool came out that could find all these vulnerabilities that had been there for 30 years, but no one has ever been able to spot. So I don't think we can just willy-nilly let it out to the wild.
It's interesting. You're essentially. You're essentially talking about Skynet right now. For those of you who haven't seen the documentary called Terminator, the big evil is Skynet, where they essentially gave this technology access to all the weapons, basically.
Yeah, they sure did. Or the Matrix, where they
Yes.
needed all the power and it took over the world.
Yes. So there is that, and you say no, don't let it anywhere near weaponry. But here's the thing, Matt. I think we probably already are.
That may be the case, and that is frightening. So hopefully we have a backdoor in place. get the codes back from it if we did. But,
Okay. So there is reason to fear it. You do think it could get out of control and do things that we would not want it to do in certain circumstances. That actually is quite interesting to me. But in terms of everyday life, for those of us who are not evil, don't want to build an empire and take over the planet, in terms of that, you're saying we should embrace it. We shouldn't, and the bosses shouldn't be pressuring people to do it. We should embrace it. We should learn it, and we should use it as a tool, like a calculator was used as a tool back in the day when they first started appearing.
You're absolutely right. And it's going to do some great things. I mean, for us, it's helped us review people more effectively, taking our time to review someone from 10 hours down to 30 minutes. I think it's going to cure a lot of diseases. It's going to, be able to create drugs that heal people much more quickly. It helps detect cancers better than, doctors or radiologists do. I think there's going to be a lot of positives from it. But yes, there are some equal downsides of, you don't want it controlling weapon systems or falling into the hands of evil hackers that use it to create security holes in our infrastructure or water supply or things like that. So I think, nothing's ever as good as you think it's going to be or as bad as you think it's going to be. And so I'm an optimist. And so I'm hopeful that we'll deploy it in a way that's safe and secure and stay one step ahead of the folks that might want to use it maliciously.
Well, let me ask you this. What are you doing with it right now?
Man, we use it to help get our salespeople up to speed. We use it to create marketing material. Heck, we create our board decks in an hour, what used to take a weekend. We're using it to code more efficiently so we can produce more for our clients in a faster period of time. We can prototype the interfaces so that people can see what their applications are going to look like in the same meeting versus taking 2 weeks. So the amount of efficiency it's creating for our organization and creating for our clients is incredible.
Now let me give you one final thing to leave you with. So as I said, when I was in school, calculators first started appearing, right? And as I said, the same language being used now in schools about AI was being used about calculator. Fast forward to when I'm dad and my daughters are going to school, on the list of things that we had to acquire for them were actually scientific level calculators. So if we do the same leap between people who are in school now and what they will be sending their kids to school with in 25 years' time, what might that look like? Gaze into the crystal ball before I let you go.
I think they're going to be, I don't even know that we'll have computers and phones as interfaces. I think there'll be ambient listening. We'll just talk, and AI would be able to help us create things and solve problems right there on the fly. Heck, I'm seeing it. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and they use ChatGPT and Gemini quite a bit. But we have a rule that they are able to explain their work and understand what it did to help them, and that they're using it to teach themselves. But they're doing that through a computer or a phone interface. I can see 25 years from now, you just talk, and things appear, services are provided. Heck, we might not even use a phone or a computer interface.
So things are just floating around in the air is basically what you're saying. And you're saying
things are 3D printed on command.
Yes.
It's going to be a wild world.
Okay. So it's going to be a wild world, that's for sure. All right, Matt, if people want to connect with you, you're a real human, right?
I am a real human. This is not my AI.
This is iHeartMedia. We are guaranteed human. So that is a real thing. So if people want to connect with you, who is a real human, where do they go, sir?
Yeah, they can email me at matt@allata, that's ALLATA.com. You can go to www.allata.com as well. That's our website, and there's lots of information about AI out there and things to sign up for to learn more. So I encourage anyone listening to get in touch with me if they have any questions about what we've covered tonight. And Simon, thanks so much for having me as a guest again.
Oh no, we appreciate you. It's going to be you're going to be fairly a regular guest. I feel the technology is advancing at such a speed that I do believe we will have you back on, Matt Rosen, in a not too distant future. You take care, sir.
All right, have a great night. Thank you.
You too. God bless.